Welcome to my dirty kitchen. I did like no special cleaning or whatever. I figure y'all don't care. You have kitchens of your own that are messy. But it is a special day because it's like the first real bounty of the year, which is summer squash. As you can see, this is about 17 pounds of summer squash. Just kind of a lot. And I should point out that this is less than 2 days of ripe squashery. So right now I'm getting about 8 to 9 pounds a day, which is cool. So, but it is a lot. Like you couldn't possibly eat all of this without dying. So we're gonna do a couple things. First off, we're gonna have a squash feast. We're gonna have, I've been calling it the Feast of 1,000 Squashes. And it's gonna be like an almost all squash deal. I do have some whole wheat bread I'm gonna make just because I love bread. And also, you know, I want bread for the next couple days. But yeah, I'm gonna make some squash in a variety of ways. Breakfast, a meal, and dessert. So it's gonna be like muffins or bread. I may make bread, I don't know. Muffins for breakfast, let's say. And then I'm gonna make like a 2-layered Italian-inspired Parmigiana thing. And then cookies for dessert. So it's a pretty slamming stuff. It will not take all this. So with what I don't use for cooking, it's gonna be made into like relishes and gonna can. I don't know if you can see over there. I got some mason jars. I'm gonna can it up. So yeah, I thought since it's 102 degrees outside, I figured we would come inside and yeah, process this bounty together. All right, let's get started. Grate your little squash. Rawr. Got like a cup and a half of flour, 2 cups of flour, something like that. Obviously, you know, I'm not really doing a recipe. Just making a shortbread. Let's see, we need some salt. Probably 2 teaspoons. Does that sound right? Nah. Let's do like 1. Maybe a half. Thinking probably 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Looks good. Then maybe more like 3 or 4. Again, it doesn't matter. A little bit, maybe a half teaspoon of baking soda. So this is your primary leavening. This primarily browns because it changes the pH. What do you think, like a cup of sugar? One goose egg. Whee! Let's whisk this up. You know what I like about goose eggs is how goose eggs, they taste by themselves, they taste horrible. You know, like if duck eggs are like the king of eggs and chicken eggs are like normal, goose eggs are like, you know, not great. But that's because the whites of a goose egg are so thick and so like proteiny that they're really kind of unpalatable by themselves. But in a baked good, nothing captures air like a goose egg. I think in terms of like quick breads or really anything that you're baking, goose eggs are like a secret sleeper. Like look, that's just, look at this. Look at how thick and luscious this is. And that's just, you know, eggs and oil, or eggs and sugar. All right, so we did like a cup of sugar, so we'll do a cup of oil. This is just olive oil. Okay, I can add this in. yellow squash. Okay. Now for flavorings, we're gonna do a little cinnamon, like that much. I'm thinking some ginger. We're gonna go wacky, I think. Ginger, cinnamon, got a little mace. It's like what nutmeg wishes it could be. Not too much, it's very powerful. And then I'm gonna put in a little sumac, just because I think it's very complimentary. Okay, what else? Do we want nuts? Let's do nuts. We got walnuts. How about that much? Let's do some sour cherries. So I got some dried sour cherries. Let's do that much. A little bit less. Mixy, mixy. Zucchini filling slop stuff into the flour. Mix this until you can't. Fancy little batter. Buttered up loaf tin. In she goes. $3.50 felt like, you know. $50 minutes? 55 minutes? Time to clean up. All right, so to finish off our yellow squash, well, we've got some more, but the bulk of it is here in this giant, like, heavy thing. I also have 2 onions and like 2 bell peppers and a poblano. My oven is preheated. So next on the list, to deal with a lot of yellow squash, we're gonna make a bunch of relish. I'm gonna add like 2 tablespoons or 3 tablespoons, maybe more, of salt. Put in some squash. Do another tablespoon. And I found that there is no bowl big enough for the amount of squash that you can grow. The purpose of the salt, we're gonna stick this in the fridge like overnight. You can actually see if you can hear it. You can hear the salt breaking it down. It's like bubbling and popping. This will subside by a lot. Okay, get the old double wrap. Let's see if I have a big old rubber band. Right there. Maybe. Whew. Don't snap back. Okay. Into the fridge it goes. Let's grate some zucchini. I'm going to save the most even big ones. So we don't actually have that much zucchini. Great, just those. It's probably about right, actually. Okay, eggs. Okay, for eggs, I've got 5 eggs because some of these are like little. You can kind of use how many you want. Doesn't really matter. A little bit of olive oil. That's probably good. What else do we need here? Oh, that's right. Potato. All right, I want to show you the coolest potato peeler in the world. Check this out. See what it can do? Right? It's crazy. It's crazy. Why doesn't everyone have one of these? Anyway, we're gonna grate it. Big shock. And into the bowl, we need some onion. Little cheese. All right, parsley from the garden, basil. I'm only gonna use most of it, maybe like that. Use the rest for the sauce. I think our bowl's not big enough. Again. All right, that looks pretty good, huh? To that we're gonna add like a healthy cup of flour. Like a teaspoon of baking powder. Maybe a teaspoon and a half. There's a lot of cheese in there. There we go. Till your arm hurts. A little garlic powder. You could use fresh garlic in here, but garlic powder will give you more uniform flavor. Okay. And then you got like a big old bacon tray. Bacon tray? Bacon would be good in this. Baking tray though. There we go. Get it level so it cooks evenly. Basically, it's like a frittata with a little flour in there to bind it. All right. Last, a little bit of panko. This dish will be slightly lacking in texture, so I think this is important. Okay, take that, toss in the oven, 350 for like, I don't know, an hour. Okay. Behind me is some onions. I'm making a tomato sauce, but things are starting to come out. This is the bread we made. I went ahead and put like a cream cheese frosting on it. Almondy. That's gonna be delicious. These are the zucchini for our roll-ups. See, they're like this. Basically, you just mandolin them. You know, one of these. I use the medium bit on mine, but you know, you want it to be like, you know, like that. It should hold together very easily, and then you're gonna drop them in an oven at like 350, 400, whatever, for 10 minutes or so until they roll up like that very easily. And you'll know, they'll start getting, the sides here will start curling up when they're done. Now we're gonna make the filling. That's just a kind of standard manicotti or filling or whatever. It's just ricotta, little low moisture mozz, and Parmesan, herbs, an egg. So here we go. Okay. Okay, so 16 ounces of ricotta, equal parts low mozz or low moisture mozz, an egg, some herb, little Parmesan. I threw in a pound of ground because it's delicious. No real reason. You can kind of fill this with anything you want, really. Oh, salt and pepper, you know, good stuff. A little garlic I threw in there. I don't know, you know, just good stuff. Tasty herbs. Oh, make sure you cool down your ground beef, by the way. You don't want to put that in hot or it'll melt the ricotta and curdle the yolk. Nobody wants that. Here we go. A tasty little filling. All right, tomato sauce is simple. I like it a little chunky. It's just me. Can of diced, can of crushed. An onion, a couple cloves of garlic, bunch of herbs. Taste it. Depending on how good these are, you may like a little pinch of sugar or honey or something sweet will really like help help remind the tomatoes of spring and that they're supposed to be sweet. It really depends on the quality of your ingredients. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give it like, I'm gonna clean up, give that 5 minutes to just kind of, mix up. By the way, the squash bake is done. Doesn't look pretty. It weighs like 6 pounds. Just stick it on a trivet. All right, sauce is ready. Isn't it pretty? Threw a little bit in here just to, keep it nice. And then we're gonna start with the rolling. All right, so we take our little mixture and we're gonna go like this. Not too much. There you go. You only go most of the way. Do you see that? So that way you have like nothing here and it'll sit. You tuck it down in there. Best thing about this dish, you leave it in here like this. You could stick it in the fridge for a day, no problem. Like, you can make it ahead of time. Everything's cold up until this point anyway. And then you're gonna give everyone a little bit of sauce. If you make your sauce chunky, you can get away with putting more on there. But think manicotti, right? You want a little sauce on every piece. Um, 400 degree oven until it's delicious. It won't take long, 20 minutes. Okay, for our zucchini side dish for dinner, we're going to trim very tightly 2 of your smallest zucchinis, or yellow squash, doesn't matter for this one. And then very carefully halve it. And then you're gonna score a crosshatch down it. And you're gonna stick these face down, like cut side down, into that pan. Cook it just until you start to see color. And stick it in the oven along with your dinner. Don't flip it, just keep it cut side down the whole time. And yeah, then that's it. All right, let's make some cookies. We're gonna do a cup of flour, 2 cups of oats. We'll do half a cup of sugar. This is just maybe like that. Looks like a half. There we go. Half a cup of sugar. Half a teaspoon of baking soda. Looks like this is the last of it. Yep. Same amount, half a teaspoon of salt. Do some cinnamon. Okay, real quick. This is what we're looking for. See how it's just starting to turn? Don't let it get too dark. Go finish it in the oven. Apparently we're now mixing wet and dry in here. I'm tossing our zucchini on the side. Okay, farmers, gardeners, homesteaders, and friends. I'm gonna eat my dinner. I got a little breakfast, nut and fruit loaf. Got a cool cookie. A little zucchini bake with some rolled up, like zucchini roll-ups. Little fried zucchini. This is just a piece of bread that I baked earlier. Tomorrow, because as you'll notice, this is not 17 pounds of squash. I've got the rest, like the relish and another dish that needs to be canned. I'm gonna do all of those. That's like a whole ordeal. I don't wanna be doing this till 10 at night. So I'm gonna do those tomorrow. And so yeah, so look forward to part 2. And funnily, and strangely enough, by the time I'm finished doing this, like the next day, there'll be the same amount of squash over again. So I'm probably gonna have to simplify and just go straight up canning quarts.
But we'll see. More about that later. So, okay, I'm gonna eat before it gets cold. Thank you for coming with me. I appreciate the time inside when it's 100 degrees outside. It's nice, and I have enough food for a week at least. So, good eating for me. All right, take care.